I've always liked storms. There's something calming about heavy rain hitting the roof, thunder in the distance, wind pushing against the windows. It makes the world feel smaller, like everything outside doesn't exist for a while. But that night, the storm felt wrong. It started around 10 p.m. I was alone in the old rental house. I just moved into a century-old place on the edge of a pine forest in Maine, far from the town center, quiet, isolated. Just me, the storm, and a bottle of bourbon I hadn't opened yet. I was halfway through a book when I heard the first knock. 3 slow, deliberate knocks at the front door. I checked the time. 11:04 p.m. I wasn't expecting anyone. I hadn't even given this address to anyone besides work and my landlord. And in this kind of weather, no one walks around in the middle of a thunderstorm without a car. I stood there for a moment, hoping I'd imagined it. Then came 3 more knocks, slower this time. I walked to the door, peeked through the peephole. Nothing, just rain, wind, porch light swaying slightly in the gusts. I turned the knob carefully, opened the door a crack. There was no one on the porch, but the doormat was soaked, and there were muddy footprints. Barefoot, they were facing toward the door. Not away. I slammed it shut and locked both bolts. I tried to go back to reading, but I couldn't concentrate. Every creak, every wind gust made me flinch. An hour later, I went to check the windows, just to be sure. That's when I saw them. Across the yard, past the tree line, something was standing between the pines. I could barely make out the outline in the rain. No flashlight, no movement, just still, like they were watching the house. I turned off every light, heart pounding, closed the blinds, hid in my room like a coward. I don't know how long I sat there, staring at the door. Sometime around 2 a.m., I heard it again. Knock, knock, knock. Only this time, it came from the back door, the one that opens into the kitchen, the one no one ever uses, the one without a peephole. I crept down the hallway, holding a kitchen knife. When I got to the kitchen, the knocking had stopped, but the back door was slightly open, just enough to let in the cold air. The rain had soaked the floor around it, and there, again, were footprints, wet, barefoot, leading into the house. I wanted to run. I should have, but I was frozen. I stepped back, closed the door slowly, locked it, bolted it, then turned toward the hallway, and saw something disappear around the corner. I ran to the front door, yanked it open, and sprinted out barefoot into the storm. I stayed in my car the rest of the night, engine running, doors locked, phone in hand. But when I tried to call the cops, my phone glitched. No signal, no service. It wasn't until sunrise that I dared go back in. The floor was dry again. No footprints, no open doors, nothing disturbed. I checked the entire house, room by room. No one, but on the wall beside my bed, written in muddy streaks, was a message. You opened it. I moved out that same week. I never figured out what it was, or who, but sometimes when it storms, I swear I hear knocking, and it always comes in threes.
I was renting this cheap one-story house during my last year of college, just outside Lawrence, Kansas. It wasn't much, 2 bedrooms, cracked driveway, windows that whistle when the wind hit right. But it was mine and I liked the quiet, until the storm. It started one Thursday night, sometime around 9. Thunder, wind, constant heavy rain. I was finishing up a paper, sitting at the kitchen table. All the lights were on. The TV was humming softly in the background. It felt cozy at first. Then the lights flickered. Once. Twice. Out! Total darkness, except the flashes of lightning outside. I got up to check the fuse box, phone flashlight in hand, when I heard a wet smack on the kitchen window. Not a tap, a smack, like someone slapped it with an open hand. I turned toward the window and froze. There, on the other side of the glass, was a face, pressed against it. Its features were obscured by rain and shadow, but I saw skin, pale, wet, and eyes, not glowing or monstrous, just human eyes, staring in. Then it dropped, like whoever was had gone completely flat and disappeared. I ran to the window and looked out, rain pouring, lightning cracking above the trees. No one. I told myself I imagined it. Maybe stress. Maybe sleep deprivation. I went back to the living room, sat on the couch, phone in my lap, trying to calm down. Then I saw movement. From the corner of my eye, through the front window, something low, crawling. It was moving across my yard, dragging itself with its elbows, barefoot, thin, clothes soaked and clinging to its skin. No umbrella, no backpack, just a body, sliding silently through mud and rain, stopping near the bushes. I turned off all the lights, crouched behind the couch. I wanted to call someone, but the storm had knocked the signal out. No bars, no Wi-Fi, just static. Then the kitchen door handle turned. I hadn't locked it. I scrambled up, slammed it shut, and bolted it just in time. Something thumped against the other side. Not hard, just enough to let me know it was still there. And then I heard it crawl across the back wall of the house. It didn't walk. It scraped. I could hear its nails or fingers dragging across the siding. I stayed in the kitchen with the lights off, holding a kitchen knife, barely breathing. Around 3 a.m., everything went quiet. The rain slowed. The wind calmed. No movement. No sound. I stayed up until sunrise. When I finally opened the front door, the yard was torn up, mud everywhere, and on the porch was a trail of handprints. Crawling away, I moved out a week later, but I still don't sleep with the lights off during storms, because whatever it was, it knew I saw it, and I don't think it was finished with me.
I took the job because it was quiet, graveyard shift, toll booth attendant on a rural highway in the middle of nowhere. I sat in a small booth from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m., listened to music, read, maybe saw 4 or 5 cars per night. The booth itself was nothing special, just a glass box with a stool, heater, radio, and an old intercom connected to the gate. If a driver needed help, they'd press the button and I'd hear them through the speaker. I worked alone, always. One night in late November, it started pouring around midnight. Heavy rain, non-stop, the kind that drowns out everything else. It was a slow night. Only 2 cars had passed. I was halfway through a bag of chips when I heard the intercom crackle. I jumped. No one had pressed a button. Then I heard a voice, a woman's voice, soft, too calm. It said, "Hello." I looked up. No car. No headlights. The gate was empty. I leaned toward the mic. Hello? Who is this? No response. The speaker went dead. I stepped outside with my flashlight. Rain soaked me instantly. I checked the gate, the side mirrors, even the ditch beside the road. No one. I went back in, locked the door. 15 minutes later, the intercom crackled again. This time the voice was different. It was a man, deep, slow, and deliberate. He said, "What's your name?" My stomach turned. I didn't answer. The intercom stayed silent for the next hour. Then, at 2:42 a.m., it came back. Same voice, same question, only louder. "What is your name?" It wasn't a malfunction. Someone was using the system, but there was no car, no movement outside, just the rain.
I killed the power to the speaker, but it didn't stop. At 3:17 a.m., the speaker came on again, even though it was unplugged. And now, the voice was right next to my ear, not in the speaker, not outside. It was inside the booth. It whispered, "I know your name now." I bolted out, ran half a mile in the rain to the nearest gas station. The clerk thought I was on something. Called me a cab. The highway authority said the intercom was old and maybe shorted during the storm. But I know what I heard. That voice wasn't on the line. It was in the room with me. I quit the next day. They never asked why. Maybe they already knew.
It had been raining for 3 days straight. The kind of cold, constant rain that soaks into your walls, your clothes, your bones. I live alone in a small rental house just outside Eugene, near the woods. It's quiet, peaceful. Usually, the house has a large back window in the kitchen that faces the trees. No curtains, just glass and the dark outside. That night, I couldn't sleep. The sound of the rain was different. Heavy, sharp, like it was trying to get in. I sat in the kitchen with a mug of tea, listening, scrolling on my phone, trying to relax. That's when I heard it. A faint tapping sound. Not from the roof, from the inside. I paused, held my breath. Tap, tap, tap. It was rhythmic, careful, like someone walking barefoot on wet tile. I looked down at the floor. My kitchen tiles were damp. I hadn't spilled anything. And then I saw them, footprints. Wet, bare, leading across the kitchen floor. I froze. There were 6 prints total, as if someone had walked in from the back door. I turned toward the door. Still locked. Chains still in place. No sign of entry. The rain picked up again, pounding hard against the windows. I followed the footprints slowly with a flashlight. They led to the hallway. Then stopped. Just stopped. No return prints. No exit. Like whoever left them had simply vanished in the middle of my house. I checked every door, every window, every closet. Nothing. No one. I told myself it had to be from earlier. Maybe I walked in barefoot after bringing in groceries. But I'd worn boots. And the shape was wrong. The toes were too long. The heel too narrow. It looked off. I tried to sleep with a knife beside my bed. At 3:03 a.m., I woke up to the sound of the microwave beeping. 3 beeps. But I hadn't used it. I walked into the kitchen slowly. Everything was still. Then I saw something that nearly made me collapse. The footprints were back. Fresh. Wet. This time they led away from the hallway. Toward the back door. The door was still locked. But this time, the glass was fogged up. Someone had been standing there, breathing against it. I pressed my hand to the glass. It was still warm. There was no one outside. Only trees. And darkness. I installed a camera the next day. Reviewed the footage from that night. There was no one in the house. No movement. But at 3:03 a.m., the camera froze. Just for 5 seconds. When it resumed, the footprints were already there. I don't know what entered my home that night. But I still hear the microwave beep sometimes. And I've stopped checking for footprints. Because now, they show up in the hallway. Even when it's not raining.